up, YouTube? Today I want to do a video. I'm gonna entitle it the law of awkwardness. And today, just like in the video I did about rejection, I want to talk about awkwardness and give a definition, explain the negative effects, and my own personal thoughts on the whole awkward thing and what it is to be awkward. So, to start off with a definition of awkwardness, right? I have a dictionary here. It says like awkward when it's like clumsy, ungraceful, difficult to explain, embarrassing, difficult to deal with, etc. So, awkwardness is something. It really happens in the human sense. We're gonna talk about it in the human society sense. Some person is deemed awkward when they don't fit in, when their behavior don't when their behavior doesn't match what's normal, what's considered normal at the time. For example, it could be as simple as the way you walk. If everybody walks with a little slant and you walk straight, that's awkward. So awkwardness is just natural. Like just like in the video I did about rejection, that rejection is a natural thing. Awkwardness is natural. It's something that occurs. Not everything is perfect and correct in this world. Not everything is straight. Not even amongst animals, even amongst trees and nature, everyone grows a little differently. Everything needs a little difference, and just like in human beings, everybody's different, and everybody carries a amount of awkwardness. But when does awkwardness become like a depressive factor for us? Like when do we start feeling like we're alienated from everybody else? When do we start feeling like we can't achieve our dreams? Well, it only happens when you start thinking that you're awkward. You know, sorry. But when before people, had the opinion and people let you know your behavior was awkward, you were just existing. Maybe it's a way you talk. Maybe you had an accent or something. But before somebody said, hey, you have an accent, you were just speaking. And in a way you were happy. In that blissful moment, you was kind of happy. And why we human beings, why awkwardness can be so hurtful for us is because as social creatures, we have a strong sense of we need to be part of the group to survive. In a way, it was kind of bred into us because back in the days, we didn't have all these nice walls, we didn't have all these guns to protect ourselves, we didn't have all these walls and all these kind of stuff. So being part of the group, most of our ancestors are more nomadic, so being part of the group meant survival. Being on your own meant meant death, because we were not the biggest animal, we were not the strongest, we were not the fastest animal. We couldn't climb as fast as other animals, we couldn't swim as fast as other animals. So getting away from a predator really would depend on our teamwork. And even to this day, fast forward into 2025, when we are not part of the group, whether this is at school, whether this is in our family, if you go to a religious organization, if you go even in your friend group, in your peer groups, when we start feeling like we're not part of the group, when we start feeling like we're awkward, it can actually have physical, like I actually read something where it could cause us physical pain, and it could actually cause us to start having a strange anxiety. And a lot of us don't really understand where this anxiety is coming from, but it's actually coming from things that were bred into us. Our survival in our brains, survival is very much important. Survival is very much dependent on being part of the group. So what happens then? There's a set of people who are deemed awkward because for whatever reason they don't change. They don't try to change themselves into the group, whether they are stubborn or whether they're just too awkward to even they're awkward and they're too shy to even try to fit in. And what happens is, and like while that is and here's the thing, with awkwardness is what I've noticed is, while it's a good thing, while it's necessary for your survival and for your own confidence and for your own mental health sometimes, to subvert your awkward behaviors, your unique behaviors to fit in, the problem I see that happens is, and I saw this in myself as well, is as you go older, you start losing who you really are. You start forgetting who you are, and then the image of yourself starts to get more and more distorted, and you start to go more and more into this thing you've created, like this avatar you've created. Like, but who really am I? Like, am I really this person that's so nice and always wants to fit in, or do I have my own thoughts? Do I have my own little awkward tweaks? And in this video, I just want to say, like, being awkward is not as bad as our body's making us feel. You know, just sit on that for a while. It's not as bad as our body, as our society, as that friend group is trying to make you feel. In fact, a lot of people who have achieved greatness in life, they would always say, you would always hear them say, don't give up on your dream, don't give up on yourself, don't, that awkwardness about you, yeah, go keep doing it. Like, if you had like a particular style of doing something, and people will say, oh, that's not the way we do it. People who have made themselves some great a lot of money, a lot of success, a lot of and have gathered a lot of like a great audience for themselves, it's when they actually took that awkwardness, that uniqueness about them, and they started to say, you know what, this is me, and I'm going to I'm going to stand firm in me, and I'm going to show the world that I could be amazing still, and I could change this awkwardness to something that the world has never seen before. And it's sad that a lot of people, their light gets dimmed out because they get called, because they're scared of being awkward. They're scared of really expressing themselves to the fullest. But while I understand it, if you're watching this video and you probably fit the category of being awkward, and you've been classed that way, you've been called weird a lot, and even your family and your friends, I want you to really understand a truth. A lot of people who fit in they are very awkward too. It's just that they have chosen to really put that side of yourself under to fit in. And the reason why they bully you for it, the reason why they always point fingers at you, is because you're actually doing something that they subconsciously want to do. In a way, you're more free than them, and it's like they gotta bully you because they're like, haha, look at you. It makes them feel better about themselves. It makes them the awkwardness about themselves. It makes them, for a moment, it makes them forget that they have that awkwardness as well, that they have those unique tendencies as well. It makes them feel like, okay, it's really that person there, and it takes the spotlight off of them, so that everybody's more looking at you as like this oddball out. But in this law of awkwardness, I want you to see it as something that's natural, that happens. It's natural and it happens, and it's part of your destiny. It's part of who you are. It's part of why you're here on this planet. Not all of us were here to sing the same song. I mean, have you ever heard a musician try to copy another musician's work? Like, how much respect does that get? Like, come on. So it's like, think about life like a big musical script, and you had to sing your own song. And yes, sometimes that song is a little awkward, but that is fine. It's just like, just remember, it's your body, it's like your innate body that's telling you it's wrong to be awkward, it's wrong to have your own thing, it's wrong to really be unique, because your body's so scared of dying, it's so scared of being all alone. But if you could push through that, and really, if you could really push through that, and you could challenge yourself to do this, and you could try to authentically be yourself, and authentically, bring out that part of you that's a little unique, people may call it a little different, and you'll notice that you get a certain calmness with it after a while. And strangely enough, the same people who were telling you you would never make it, telling you you too awkward to do this and whatever, they'll strangely want to do your style. I remember there was this lady back in his Afghanistan. I think she was the Chanel, and when she started, she was one who kind of started dressing a little androgynous for women, and obviously a lot of people were like, ew, that's nasty. But she stayed in her dream, she stayed in her little uniqueness, and today, like, it's a big, the androgynous style is a big thing now. And even back then, when people started to realize she was getting traction, they decided to change. Oh yes, it is beautiful. So just remember that some of the same people jeering at you will praise you in the end. So think about that.